Hello students, today we are going to see geometric constructions after we have learned about algebraic extensions. First of all, we will see a definition of when a real number is said to be constructible. Alpha belongs to R is said to be constructible if we can construct a line segment modulus of alpha in a finite number of steps from a segment of unit length by using a straight edge and a compass. So that's how we can define a constructible number, or that's how we say when a real number is constructible. Now let's see how this is so. So first of all, in the Euclidean plane, plot the origin 0, 0 and 1, 0. We are going to use compass and we are going to use a ruler. Okay, and we know that the distance between 0, 0 and 1, 0 is unit length, right? So first we are going to draw a circle with unit radius and center at 1, 0. Okay, so this is a circle. Okay, so we have drawn the circle, and similarly we can use the circle to find where minus 1, 0 will lie. So again use a unit circle, then we can understand that this will be minus 1 comma 0. So in order to, and this will be definitely 2, 0, right? Ordered pair 2, 0. To find 3, 0, what you have to do is you have to draw a unit circle at 2, 0, and then you will obtain this point to be 3, 0, right? Similarly, to get what is minus 2, 0, you have to draw a circle, a unit circle at minus 1, 0, and this will be minus 2, 0. Now if you need minus 3, 0, what you have to do is you have to again draw a unit circle at this minus 2, 0, and then you will obtain what is minus 3, 0. Okay, so this will be minus 3, 0. So you have used uh, a compass, and with the help of the compass we are drawing a circle having unit length. So at first we only had the ordered pair 0, 0 and ordered pair 1, 0. With the use of 0, 0 and 1, 0 and the length in between, we have understood where are the positions of 1, 0, ordered pair 1, 0, ordered pair 2, 0, ordered pair 3, 0, ordered pair minus 1, 0, ordered pair minus 2, 0, ordered pair minus 3, 0, and so on. And now you're going to draw a circle at 1, 0 with radius 2. We now know what is radius 2. We can form the length from the distance between minus 1, 0 and 1, 0. That will be length 2. Using that you can draw a circle with radius 2 with center 1 0. Let's see how it will look like. It will be a big circle, center. Okay. So this will be the circle centered at 1 0, circle centered at 1 0, and having radius 2. So we can draw the same kind of circle with center at -1 and radius 2. Radius not 2, radius 2 and center -1 0. So let's see where we can place it. Okay, so this will be that circle. So now you can see that this circle, the two circles intersect at this point. See this point and this point, and using this intersection you can draw the y-axis. Okay, think that the y-axis was not there earlier. If it was not there, or thing like this, I'm just going to, okay, suppose we just had the x-axis like this. Okay, the x-axis was like this, and you don't know where the y-axis is. Suppose if it is like this, so using this construction we are able to draw the y-axis. Okay, so the y-axis can be drawn like this from here to here, and we understand that that will be the y-axis. Okay, so we plotted the y-axis, and continuing in this fashion we can uh, actually plot all the integer, all the ordered pairs with integer coordinates in any rectangle which contains 0 0 as one vertex. Okay, so that is a very good observation what we get from here. Okay, so here there is also something which helps us. See, here you have 1 0 here, 0 0 here, and you have um, the y-axis here. So you have to check whether what is an example of a constructible number. So you have to keep that in mind. Here we said that a real number is constructible if we can construct a line segment modulus of alpha in a finite number of steps from a segment of unit length using a straight edge and a compass. So suppose if you are having the x-axis like this, okay, suppose if it is like this, and you're having the 0 here, and you are having the 1 here. Okay, so you have this to be of unit length, right? And suppose if you are able to draw a unit length here perpendicular here. Okay, so this is 1. You know that by joining this point and this point, you know that this value will be square root of 1 square plus 1 square, that will be root 2. So this means that root 2 is a constructible number because we were able to have a line segment with root 2 as its length, and we obtained it from a finite number of steps, starting with a line segment of unit length by using a straight edge and a compass. You can construct this, right? So that's how you can form or understand that root 2 is a constructible number. Real number, and the general form of any root being constructible will be seen after some time. Okay, so as we said, by this method we can locate all the points x y with integer coordinates in any rectangle containing 0 0. Also it is possible that we can erect a perpendicular to a given line at a known point on the line. So suppose if this is the given line L, okay, this is the given line and this is a known point, you can drop in a perpendicular at this known point, and that perpendicular is of 90 degrees with the given line. Okay, so we are able to do that. That is a possibility number one. These are all just geometry we have been doing in high school classes. So also we can find a line passing through a known point and parallel to a given line. That is, if suppose you are given a line L and a point, known point is here. So you can draw a line L dash which is parallel to L, and such that that L dash is passing through this known point. That's what it's the B part of that remark says. Now we are moving on to a theorem which says that if alpha and beta are constructible real numbers, then alpha plus beta, alpha minus beta, alpha beta, and alpha by beta, where beta not equal to 0, are all constructible real numbers. So to prove the same, we are given that alpha and beta are both constructible. There are line segments, that means there are line segments of lengths modulus of alpha and modulus of beta which are available to us. Okay, so as of now we are going to split them into cases. Case 1 is that both alpha and beta are strictly greater than 0. So in this case we know that alpha and beta are constructible, so we can draw a line or line segment of length alpha. So you first draw a line segment of length alpha and extend it, and then you, using your compass, you just have to lay off on the extension the length of beta. Okay, so together this alpha and beta together will give you alpha plus beta. Similarly, if you have been given alpha, the whole alpha, you make it in a line segment, and then from that alpha you just cut off beta. If this is beta, you just cut off that beta, so what remains will be alpha minus beta. So from this you can understand that alpha plus beta and alpha minus beta are constructible, and similarly alpha minus beta is also constructible. That's what which is seen in this figure. Now case 2 is that alpha and beta, both of them are not positive. So case 2a will be alpha strictly greater than 0 and beta strictly greater than beta strictly less than 0. That means you can take beta is equal to some minus gamma, and since beta is constructible, that will imply minus beta is constructible, right? Because modulus of beta is being used there, right? So beta is constructible implies minus beta is constructible will imply gamma is constructible. So here alpha plus beta is equal to actually alpha minus gamma, that is constructible from the case 1 part. Similarly, alpha minus beta is equal to alpha plus gamma is constructible, that is also obvious from the case 1 part. Now case 2b says that if alpha is strictly less than 0 and beta is strictly greater than 0. So assume that alpha is equal to minus delta. So alpha is constructible implies delta is constructible, like as we said in case 2a. So here also alpha plus beta is equal to minus delta plus beta, which is equal to beta minus delta, which is constructible from part case 1. Okay. Similarly, alpha minus beta is equal to minus delta minus beta, which is equal to minus of beta plus delta, and that is also constructible from part case 1. Okay, case 1. And case 2 says that if alpha is strictly less than 0 and beta is strictly less than 0, so let alpha is equal to minus psi and beta is equal to minus omega. Alpha and beta being constructible implies obviously minus psi and minus omega, which are alpha and beta, minus of alpha and minus beta, they are also constructible. So that means alpha plus beta is equal to minus psi plus minus omega, which is equal to minus of psi plus omega, and that is constructible. Similarly, alpha minus beta, which is equal to minus psi minus minus omega, which is equal to omega minus psi, that is also constructible from the case 1 part. Okay. So we are now finished with the adding and subtracting. Now let's move on to the construction of the product. We have to say that alpha beta is constructible. For that, consider this figure. Okay, we will give the steps what you have to do. First, what you have to do is you have to draw a line segment OA bar, which is having alpha as the length. Or you can say that modulus of alpha bar is equal to modulus of alpha. Modulus of OA bar is equal to modulus of alpha. And then what you have to do is step 2 is to find, step 1 is to extend or find a line through O which does not contain OA bar. Okay, you have already, at first you have drawn OA. Your idea is to find a line or draw a line through O which is not containing OA bar. So that line is called L. Okay. Step 2 is to find P and B. P and B on this line L such that OP bar is equal to unit length 1 and OB bar is equal to modulus of beta. So that is our aim. Okay. And then what you have to do is step 3, we have to draw PA bar. You have to just join P and A. Okay, A is already there in the line segment OA bar. Okay. And in step 4, what you have to do is you have to draw a line L dash which is parallel to this PA, and it should be through B. Okay, so the other endpoint is Q. Step 5, extending OA bar. So this extension will lead to both of them intersecting and meeting L dash at Q. Okay, so that's all about the steps, and remember the figure. We have to use the figure in order to see about the construction of alpha beta. So in this construction, we are obtaining two similar triangles which are OAP and OQB. Okay, so you can see that this is one of the triangle and this is the other similar triangle. And using the property of similar triangles, you can write OP by OA. The length of OP by OA is equal to the length of OB by OQ. And OP bar, you can see in the figure that OP bar is equal to 1 and OA bar is equal to modulus of alpha. OB bar is equal to modulus of beta, and OQ bar, let it remain like that. So when you cross multiply, you get modulus of OQ bar is equal to modulus of alpha into modulus of beta, which is equal to modulus of alpha beta. And that means by the definition, you get that alpha beta is a constructible real number. So we are done with that part. And now we have to think about the quotient alpha by beta. So now in order to see the construction of alpha by beta, where beta not equal to 0, what we have to do is, you consider this figure. Here also first we have to draw OA bar, the line segment OA bar with length modulus of alpha. And step 1 is to construct the line L through O not containing OA bar, the same step 1 as earlier. Step 2 is to find B and P on this line L such that OB bar is equal to modulus of beta and OP bar is equal to 1. Okay. Third step is draw BA bar. Just join B and A together. Okay. Step 4 is to construct an L dash through this P, and that line should be parallel to BA bar, and this parallel line should cut OA bar at Q. Okay, this is how the picture looks. Here also we are obtaining two similar triangles. The similar triangles being triangle OPQ and triangle OBA. In the figure you can see it, OPQ, OPQ and OBA. Okay. So this will imply the ratio OQ by OP is equal to OA by OB, and substitute for OA bar. OA bar will be modulus of alpha, OB bar will be modulus of beta, and OP bar will be unit length, right? Then cross multiplying, you get modulus of OQ bar is equal to modulus of alpha by beta. So that means alpha by beta is constructible. So we are done with the theorem easily. So the adding, subtracting, multiplication and product and the quotient, all of them are constructible. Now let's see a corollary of this theorem. The set of all constructible real numbers forms a subfield F of the field of real numbers. Actually, this corollary is obvious one after the theorem. Since if alpha beta being constructible will imply the sum, the subtracting one, alpha minus beta, the product, the quotient, all of them are constructible. This will imply that the set of all constructible real numbers will form a field, and obviously it is a subfield of real numbers. So that's how that corollary winds up. And note that Q being the smallest subfield of R and F being a field of constructible numbers, which is a subfield of R, you can understand that Q is contained in F contained in R. That means set of all constructible numbers, or the field of all constructible numbers will contain all rational numbers. And the next remark is about construction of a rational number, not geometrically but analytically using equations. So given a segment of unit length, which is actually a basic unit of the x-axis, we can locate any point ordered pair q1 q2 with both coordinates being rational. Any further point in the plane that we can locate by using a compass, and a straight edge can be found in one of the following three ways. We are mentioning the three ways or the three cases. The first case is that as an intersection we can get uh, uh, an ordered pair of rational coordinates as an intersection of two lines, each of which passes through two known points having rational coordinates. Case 2 is as an intersection of a line that passes through two points having rational coordinates and a circle whose center has rational coordinates and whose radius is rational. Case 3 as an intersection of two circles whose centers have rational coordinates and whose radii are rational. So in order to get a further explanation of the same, we know that the equation of a line is ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, and equation of a circle is x square plus y square plus dx plus ey plus f is equal to 0. In case 1, solving two linear equations are given, because we are going to solve two lines. So that means we are solving two linear equations in two unknowns that will result in solutions of x and y, which are rational combinations of the coefficients of two linear equations. In case 3, if two circles are intersecting, subtracting the two equations, we'll end up with d1 minus d2 of x plus e1 minus e2 of x plus f1 minus f2 is equal to 0. Just subtracting this equation minus this equation will end up in this. Actually, this is the equation of the chord passing through the points of intersection, if there are points of intersection existing. Sometimes there might not be, sometimes there might be one point of intersection, sometimes there might be two point of intersection for those two circles. And thus case 3 will be reduced to case 2, as we just need to solve a system consisting of a linear equation and one equation of a circle. That is, we have the system ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, x square plus y square plus dx plus cy plus ey plus f is equal to 0. So that is case 2. We earlier said that case 3 is reducing to case 2 analytically. So from 1 you get y is equal to minus ax plus c by b, and you have to substitute this 3 in 2, and that will make equation number 2 a quadratic equation in the variable x. All the y will vanish and everything will be in x, and the highest power is 2. So that will be a quadratic equation. So the values of x will be rational combinations of coefficients and the square root function in the quadratic formula. And this process can be iterated again and again or repeated to produce square roots of rational combinations of square root of rational combinations of square root of rational combinations of etc. finite number of times. So that is a good observation you get from there. And the next is the theorem which says that the field f of constructible real numbers consists precisely of all real numbers that we can obtain from Q by taking square roots of positive numbers a finite number of times and applying a finite number of field operations. As of now, we have mentioned about f doesn't having numbers except those we obtain from Q by taking finite number of square roots of positive numbers and applying finite number of field operations. What that remains is the claim, which is if alpha is strictly greater than 0, then square root of alpha is constructible. For that, you have to consider this figure. So in this figure, modulus of OA bar is equal to modulus of alpha, and since alpha is strictly greater than 0 here, you can say that this is equal to alpha. This is equal to alpha. So step 2 is find P by extending this OA to the left, and such that OP bar will be having unit length. Modulus of OP bar is equal to 1. Step 3, you have to find the midpoint of PA and draw a semicircle such that this PA bar is being the diameter of that semicircle. Step 4, we have to erect a perpendicular at P to PA bar at this point O, and let that perpendicular meet the semicircle at Q. Okay, in this figure which we have drawn now, we understand that OPQ and OQA, both of the triangles are similar, and using the ratio of sides property of similar triangles, you get modulus of OQ bar by modulus of OP bar is equal to modulus of OA bar by modulus of OQ bar. So in order to remember that, whenever you are taking OQ, you should take OA. So here OQ, OA. Whenever on the bottom you have OP, here you will have OQ. That is the order. So you keep in mind whenever you're dealing with similar triangles that the angles should be the same. Here, if you take O, that is 90 degree. So here you have O, P and Q. Then you have 90-degree O, and this P, this angle will be coming as Q here. So you have OQA. So if that order is taken, you can easily write the ratios of the sides. And when you evaluate and simplify, you get modulus of OQ bar, the whole square is equal to modulus of alpha into 1, which is equal to alpha, as alpha is strictly greater than 0. So modulus of OQ bar is equal to square root of alpha, which is equal to modulus of square root of alpha, which means that square root is of alpha is constructible, and also all field operations are possible by construction, as we have earlier said. Now, if gamma is constructible and gamma not belongs to Q, then there is a finite sequence of real numbers alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n, which is equal to gamma, alpha n is equal to gamma, such that Q of alpha 1, comma alpha 2, etc. alpha I is an extension of Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I minus 1 of degree 2. In particular, the degree of the extension Q of gamma over Q is equal to 2 power r for some integer r greater than or equal to 0. So this corollary is actually a simple one. Starting with the rationals, any constructible number is based on a finite number of extractions of square roots of rational combinations of previously constructible numbers. And then the finite sequence will be following like that, following as since alpha I plus 1 is produced from Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I by taking square roots of rational combinations of elements in Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I, then the degree of Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I, comma alpha I plus 1 over Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha I is equal to 2. So using Tower rule, you get that the degree of Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n over Q will be equal to 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into etc. 2 n times. So that is 2 power n times. So instead of this alpha n, you can use gamma. So you ultimately get 2 power n is equal to the degree of the extension Q of alpha 1, alpha 2, etc. alpha n over Q of gamma into the degree of the extension Q of gamma over Q. So you understand that this part will be definitely equal to some 2 power r for some r greater